I've been seeing a lot of back and forth of whether or not Starkiller should be in the canon or not. I'll break down some of the reasons and points, and at the end I'll give what I think. So one of the main arguments I've been seeing a lot is Starkiller, is too OP, which to an extent, I guess, I mean, he is really powerful, but he is shown in literally every single encounter he has with Darth Vader that he's weaker than Vader, and he's definitely way too weak to even fight Palpatine. Like, he literally dies to Palpatine at the end of the first game, and one of his first deaths was literally to Vader. So he's not exactly OP. He is strong, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't consider, like, I'd say he's as strong as any other Star Wars pro tag I've seen. It kind of like, it's basically basic rule, Jesus Christ. It's essentially, typical pro tag power, essentially. And I know some people are gonna bring up the CGI where he incinerates a bunch of Imperial troopers and all that with the Force. And what's funny is that in the actual game, which was Unleashed 2, you don't get that ability unless you level up your Force abilities in that game. So, like, kinda spectacle in a way. Like, a lot of the things people talk about are mostly spectacle. The other thing is, well, this cutscene. Yeah, he kills Chewbacca and Han Solo in this, but that's not even canon to Force Unleashed. A lot of the cutscene points a lot of people bring aren't even canon to Force Unleashed in itself. So it's just kind of weird. Like, this isn't really some hidden secret, and to be honest, Force Unleashed isn't really that complicated of a story. It's actually super basic. It's your basic affair when it comes to, like, hack and slash games. So it's not even a hidden info. Like, Star Wars Force Unleashed 1 and 2 have, like, 2 endings. One of them is non-canon, the other one is canon to Force Unleashed. And him killing Han Solo and Chewbacca isn't even a thing that happens in Force Unleashed. That's just a what-if scenario that happens in a DLC. Yeah, in a DLC, so it's not even part of the main game either. So a lot of the points people bring kind of fall mute when you just play the game, or when you just watch all the cutscenes. All the cutscenes in Force Unleashed pretty much show him to be pretty much on par with, I guess, let's say, Anakin in a way. But even then, I would argue that he's weaker than Anakin in that regard too. Like I said, don't get me wrong, he is really powerful, but he's not. Some people overshoot, like, how strong Starkiller really is. So the lore doesn't conflict with neither main things, like, the original trilogy doesn't really conflict with anything, because he sort of disappears after 2. We don't get an actual conclusion after 2, now that I notice. But yeah, I'd say he fits pretty well for Disney's main canon. Do they still need to tweak him a little bit? Maybe. But overall, a lot of the points a lot of people bring as to why he can't join the Disney canon, it's kind of mute when you just watch the cutscenes and play the game. He's not as OP as people say he is. And a lot of the actions he commits in Force Unleashed aren't even canon to Force Unleashed. So yeah, it's just weird. Now that I'm on topic with Star Wars, I did watch episode 3 and 4 of Ahsoka. So far I'm still enjoying it. A little bit of nitpicks here and there, like, I would have liked to see a little bit of Ahsoka and Sabine's training before the series, because they said, like, they implied it as if it already happened, but we never got to see it. And in Rebels, they never show it, so like, it's kind of weird they just land us with that information. Although that's a bit of a nitpick, because Star Wars is known to do that. The original trilogy did it, the prequel trilogy did it, and the sequel trilogy makes heavy use of that. They make heavy use of like just saying that something happened, essentially, so instead of showing it. So I'm not really a stranger to this. It's as basic stuff with Star Wars. It's just that, it's a little bit of a nitpick that they just landed that info on us and expect us to just walk away from that. And the fight scenes are still slow. The last fight in episode 4 was one of the best so far. They show Ahsoka being more acrobatic in that one, but it's still kind of slowish. When people caught wind of like Starkiller's voice actor and face being connected to Ahsoka in some way, I'm pretty damn sure he's just voice acting Anakin, which, spoiler alert, Anakin does appear at the end of the episode 4. Oops. But yeah, basic stuff. So far I'm enjoying it, but I just hope they fix up the fight scenes a little bit more, add a little bit more pizzazz to it, I guess. Like the last fight scene in episode 4 was a good start, but I need a little bit more to it. And so I'm just saying. But yeah, that's all, I guess. Here's some cool art I did. I felt inspired.